When we think of economics today, we usually picture a cold discipline of sterile mathematics, charts, and stock tickers. To understand its true origins, we have to shatter that image and look toward a much older field, moral philosophy. The man responsible for this shift was Adam Smith. He spent his life wrestling with a distinct, deeply human tension. How can a functional society possibly exist if every single individual inside it is primarily looking out for themselves? Logically, if personal needs are continuously prioritized over collective values, the entire social structure should collapse into anarchy. Smith first mapped the friction of the human soul before he ever mapped the wealth of a nation. His findings arrived in 1759, published in his philosophical masterpiece, The Theory of Moral Sentiments. He started with a blunt reality check. Human beings are driven by a desire to secure their own interests above anyone else's. This diagram illustrates his next realization, the counterweight. We possess an inherent capacity for empathy. We'll gladly help others, provided it returns a benefit to us, whether monetary, spiritual, or moral. This internal balance allows stable, cooperative relationships to form between inherently selfish individuals. This micro-level drive to better oneself by providing something of value to others is the engine that makes physical prosperity possible. 17 years later, Smith applied this logic to the physical workplace. He argued that the same self-interest that regulates our social behavior also dictates how we produce value. To maximize individual returns, Smith proposed that we must specialize, leveraging a concept he called the division of labor through his observation of a pin factory. A single worker trying to perform all 10 steps of making a pin alone yields a limited daily output. But by distributing those tasks to 10 specialized workers, that same factory produces thousands of pins daily. Societal wealth is manufactured through the structured, specialized cooperation of individuals who are all chasing their own betterment. Scaling this concept up to an entire country poses a massive logistical problem. Without a king or central planner organizing these millions of workers, who is controlling the system? Smith called the answer the invisible hand. It is a natural, systemic control mechanism that regulates a free society. This mechanism doesn't issue verbal commands. It communicates entirely through the fluctuating level of prices in the market. When a market cluster generates high profit, it acts as a green light, instantly drawing resources and increasing production in that sector. Conversely, localized losses act as a red light, signaling individuals to abandon failing ventures. This is exactly why Smith argued against heavy state intervention like mercantilism. When a government attempts to manipulate the economy, it short-circuits these vital natural signals and stifles overall progress. The market's auto-regulation takes the decentralized, selfish actions of individuals and seamlessly translates them into optimal economic welfare for the majority, entirely without their conscious intent. Smith's blueprint of free enterprise, free competition, and free trade successfully laid the groundwork for modern global prosperity. Yet his core philosophy is heavily caricatured today. Smith never claimed the market was flawless or that it functioned autonomously by magic. He acknowledged that a market of completely unrestricted commerce was a theoretical ideal rather than a practical expectation. The invisible hand was never an endorsement of lawless anarchy or predatory corporate greed. The market only functions if its participants operate within strict laws, established norms, and that foundational human empathy Smith identified back in 1759. A thriving society demands a delicate dual structure. You need the absolute freedom to pursue individual self-interest, firmly bound by the rigid rules necessary to keep that pursuit fair.